The live feeds are finally on, so I can talk a little bit about Celebrity Big Brother season 3. They had a hiccup of a start because we were supposed to get live feed last night and then they were delayed. And so we had to wait until tonight. At first, they said Friday, which was crazy, but I think there was a lot of pushback from people on social media. So Paramount Plus put them on tonight. So I'm going to be talking about the first few hours of the live feeds for Celebrity Big Brother. You're going to have to bear with me because there's going to be a lot to dissect, I think. The episodes have given us some information, but obviously we're already more than a week into this game, so we missed a lot on live feeds. So we really don't have a big idea of what has already gone down. And a lot of these players are already a mess, and it sounds like we already missed a mess because clearly there's been some drama over the last few days, especially. I don't know what went down last night. I feel like there was no feeds last night because the drama may have been too touchy, maybe. But we'll get into some of that here. On the episodes, the first episode wasn't that great. I mean, it was a basic introduction. I actually think Thursday's episode was a good episode. And I don't say that often about Big Brother. But I still feel like we're not seeing everything, and I hate that because if we remember the live feeds for Frenchie on Big Brother 23 and Frenchie's crazy first HOH and how absolutely ridiculous that was, Misha's on the TV show already seems really bad and really messy. So I can only imagine how messy it truly was compared to Frenchie's crazy first week. I think Misha's was probably similar. I think a lot of first HOHs have really messy weeks, and most seasons we don't get to see the first week on feeds, so we don't actually know just how absolutely crazy it was. So yeah, on the episodes we see Misha targeting Teddy, and I guess because she's another athletic girl and she doesn't trust her, but then Misha's also trying to put together an athlete alliance, I guess, with Mariah and Lamar, but also Chris Kirkpatrick and Todrick. I don't know how those two are considered athletes. I mean, I guess Todrick's a dancer, and I guess Chris Kirkpatrick used to dance in NSYNC 20 fucking years ago. So yeah, I didn't really get exactly why she chose some of the people she did, but she did. And then we see in the episode that Mariah warns Teddy, and that gets back to Misha. Well, she ended up nominating Carson and Mariah, as we saw in the episode. But come to find out on feeds, Carson won veto, so Carson is no longer on the block. And it sounds like she did what she wanted to do in the first place to put Teddy up on the block and I guess kind of backdoor her to get her out. So it's Teddy and Mariah on the block. I'm not too happy about that. I also, I don't know. I guess Misha is used to fighting women, so she's targeting the women, I guess, the other athletic women. But how that doesn't just make her a bigger target is the question, because she is clearly one of the youngest and clearly athletic. She's a UFC fighter. So usually you want to keep around some of the people that are like you so they can maybe be targets before you or at least targeted with you. But Misha wants to take them out. So I don't think it makes a lot of logical sense on Misha's part who she targeted in this first week. I also think that she had a messy week. She has to be a very big target going into these next couple of weeks. I have a hard time seeing her win this game at this point. I understood some of her thought processes, but now as the feature on, we're seeing that there is a lot of mess that has apparently happened there was a fight between Todd and Todrick. I think I don't know what was said in that about the Black community and Todrick's sexuality. And apparently, as we saw in the episode, Todrick was the one that snaked Mirai because there was that whole alleged alliance between Carson, Cynthia, Todrick, Shauna, Mirai, and Teddy. And then Todrick went back to Misha because Misha also offered him an alliance. Well, it feels like Todrick's game has already been blown up, and he is not good at this. he did this to himself, though. I know that he was having a lot of pushback when he was first announced on the cast that I said I was going to give him a chance. Well, I gave him a chance, and he sucks. I mean, it was already suspicious that this man hung out with the cookout after BB23. Then he talks about how he took advice from Tommy Bracco from BB21. So that was already questionable. And we see now he came in trying to play a rat game, and it has already blew up in his face. It seems like everyone in the house already knows that Todrick has been trying to play different sides. And I think there's a lot of people unhappy with him. It also seems like him and Carson aren't jiving, which is surprising to me because I really did think they would be one of the more stronger duos in this game, but Todrick's in this athlete alliance, and I just don't know if he truly fits in as much as he thinks he does. And I'm pretty sure some of them are already side-eyeing him. So, yeah, Todrick fucked up. He fucked up. Let's see. I have a lot of notes for this only being a few hours, and I don't really know where to go. I guess we're going to go to the house allegedly being split, because that was the next big topic when the feeds first came on. We have Chris Kirkpatrick and Todrick talking about that at one point. So it seems like this is just what I've gathered in the first few hours. I don't really know how accurate this has been because obviously the game's been going on for 9 days and we're just barely getting feeds. So we had that first alliance allegedly with Carson, Cynthia, Todrick, Shauna. Is it Shanna? I'm going to suck with her name, but I'm trying. I'll try to learn it, but I don't know who she is. Mirai and Teddy. Well, I started with Carson, Cynthia, Todrick, and Shanna, but then Cynthia and Carson kind of brought in Mirai and Teddy so they could have the majority of the house. Well, I guess Todrick didn't like that he was not included in making this decision. So I guess after the renom, I guess after Teddy was put on the block, it was because Misha told Mirai that Teddy came to her after Mirai warned Teddy that she was in danger. So Misha tried to throw Teddy under the bus to Mirai and therefore putting up Teddy. And I guess that kind of broke up most of that first alliance. Oh, yeah. So at first on the feeds, it seemed like Shanna, Carson, and Cynthia were still the core of that original alliance. But then Shanna is definitely playing both sides because then it seems like she's also in this athlete alliance with Misha and Todrick and Chris Kirkpatrick and Shanna, and I guess kind of Lamar as the fifth number. So Shanna's playing both alliances for sure, which is a dangerous game this early into a season, even though, I mean, I guess it's already almost a third of the way over. So is the house really completely split? I feel like they wanted to be more split than it actually is. I still feel like there is just as many people outside of these alliances than there are in these alliances. Because I don't feel like Lamar's head is that much in the game, at least what I'm seeing so far on feeds. I don't think Todd Bridges' head is in the game right now. I don't think Chris Kattan's head is really in the game right now. So it's really like Shanna playing the size of two smaller alliances. There's definitely an alliance between Todrick, Misha, and Chris Kirkpatrick, with Shanna allegedly also in there. And then there's the other side with Carson and Cynthia, and I guess Teddy, and then Shanna also in there. But then there's Mariah, who I guess Misha thinks she has Mariah in her pocket. And at this point, maybe I think Mariah is going to prove to be a wild card in this game, though, and definitely competitive. And then, like I said, we have Todd and Lamar and Chris Kattan kind of doing their own thing. So I feel like maybe Chris Kirkpatrick and Misha and Todrick are trying to split the house or force a split, but I don't think you can actually force a split. Splits either just happen or they don't. So right now there are just still too many floaters for there to be a real split house, but it can happen. I just don't know what all of these wild cards are going to do. We also need to talk about Cynthia's power, which Mon Juan backwards is now Nom. So everybody's speculating that she's going to be able to nom a third person right before the vote. I mean, I don't know who that's going to be. I didn't see that mentioned on the feeds while I was watching the first few hours. But I do think that it would be interesting if she put up Todrick. Would Todrick go because he's played such a messy ass game already? Maybe. I think that would be funny, honestly. I would kind of enjoy seeing that. But I don't know if that would actually happen because it seems like Todrick's little athlete alliance wants Teddy out and to at least force a tie. I guess they're thinking they have the votes of Chris Kirkpatrick, Todrick, Shanna, and Lamar. So that would be at least enough to force a tie. Meanwhile, I guess on the other side, it is Carson, Cynthia, and I assume they think they have Chris Kattan and Todd Bridges. I'm seeing people speculate on Twitter that it seems like Mariah's staying. And I loved Mariah in the episodes, and I like her a lot. And when Veets came on, Teddy was laying into Todrick, calling him out and all of his bullshit. And I loved that. I thought Teddy was going to be boring, but she brought the confrontation, and I enjoyed it. So I enjoyed seeing Todrick kind of get slayed a little by Teddy. But I think the vote is really close because I don't know where Shanna or Todd Bridges or Chris Kattan really lay right now. And is Shanna's going to have to draw a line in the sand of her own with this vote unless it's more lopsided than it seems. So you would think she has a possibility of screwing her game if she's trying to play both sides and both sides want a different target out. So I have no idea who's actually going to get voted out because, I mean, it's only been a few hours and this is all that I have gathered. Let's see if I have any other notes worth talking about. Oh, yeah, Chris Kirkpatrick keeps talking shit about Mariah, so I guess Mariah said something that offended Chris Kirkpatrick or they got into an argument. And it seems like at some point Mariah was maybe acting a little wild. A lot of people have talked about her that at one point during the game, a lot of people were just ready to send her home. Maybe she reacted to being on the block badly. Hopefully we'll see in this next episode, but who knows. But that seems to be the case because a lot of people have already mentioned that within the first 2.5 hours that Mariah is a little wild and maybe not equipped to being in the house, or maybe that's just Teddy's way of trying to paint the target on Mariah. I do like that the first vote is very split, though. That means it should be a close vote, and I have no idea which way it's going. And there's still Cynthia's power. What will that cause to happen? So the vote could go either way. I don't feel as comfortable saying that Mariah is safe right now because there's too many other elements, and we really don't have enough information to state that as a fact. I think that's where it seems the numbers are going because of Todd and Chris Kattan being so nowhere in the game. But who knows? It could be close, and with Cynthia's power, it could be really close. I also have to talk about a little more about Todrick's messy game, because even in the episode, he stated that when Mariah is doing his bad gameplay, when Mariah went from Misha's conversation to telling Teddy she's in trouble, when in that conversation, Misha's talking about putting Mariah on the block as a pawn. Like, yeah, we're going to welcome you into this alliance by putting you on the block as a pawn, was not the best approach. Once again, Misha's first HOH. Messy. So I just think Todrick saying that Mariah's gameplay is messy when he goes and does the same thing, and clearly his game's already been blown up. There was a Todrick exposed party. It just shows how poor of a game he's playing. And he listened to all the wrong Big Brother alumni before he came into this game. The ones he listened to clearly gave him some shit advice. I do wonder if at some point there's a possibility that if there's really a split house, Carson and Todrick come back together and can try and play the sides against each other. But as it seems on the feeds right now, I mean, they could be playing. Who knows? But Todrick's telling everybody Carson's business, so I doubt it. Because Todrick's telling Chris Kirkpatrick that Carson came to him on the first day and said the gays should work together. And then he's already throwing Carson under the bus for saying that. So I don't know if Todrick, maybe that is the plan, but Todrick is talking too much, which I think was always going to be a possibility. Like I said on the first video when I was doing the assessment, and Todrick has these paragraph answers. I also think Cynthia's playing a good social game. I think she is both under the radar, but also in alliances. So I think she could work a good social game. I think obviously Shanna's playing a good game, but a dangerous game, especially if she has to show her cards on this vote, if it's really as close as it seems. And then I think the only person I have a really hard time seeing winning at this point is Todrick. I think I would be surprised if Todrick won. Like, Misha's had a rough start as the first HOH and a messy HOH, and she's targeting athletic women, which is only going to grow her own target, like I said in the beginning. But I can still see her pulling out win. I mean, I think it's going to come down to a point where if she gets far, she's going to have to win challenges to succeed in this game. After that first episode, it really seemed like Carson was the front runner to win, and like he has all these connections with everybody. But with this, some players trying to force this split in the house, Carson could be a big target sooner rather than later. And then, yeah, I just don't know where all these wild cards really are going to do. Chris Kattan and Todd Bridges and Lamar. No idea where they are right now in this game or what their game will become. It's been fun, though. I think the casting was bad, and then them delaying the live feeds was bad. But I thought the second episode was entertaining. I think the first few hours of feeds were entertaining. I mean, way too many cuts of the feeds, of course. But they were still, it was an entertaining few hours from what we got to see of it. Teddy laying into Todrick was my favorite part. So, yeah, that's the best assessment I could do of these first few hours. Still trying to get the lay of the land. I will try and record another video in the morning or tomorrow afternoon, probably in the afternoon. And yeah, for now, though, a good start. I mean, everybody's playing. I mean, there's a few of the guys that aren't playing hard at all, or maybe not even playing at all. But for the most part, most of the cast is playing hard already, and I love to see that.